Okay, so this is a new year. This is January 2025, and I thought of giving you a gift. So, and that gift is to teach you how to make this particular bag. You can use your manual sewing machine to do it. You can use your hand stitch to make it. So, whichever one. So, if you have machine, fine. If you don't have machine, you are covered. So, I want to give you this as my own New Year gift. I don't have chicken, I don't have rice to give you, but I'll teach you how to make this, especially for those who are passionate about it. I'll teach you from scratch to finish. I mean, no step is skip. No step will be skip. Okay, so please pay attention to the free training. You will understand everything. What I'm measuring now is called front, 5 inches. And this pink board is called fiber. You can see I have to measure down and then I measure it up again, 5 inches. Make sure your tape is equal at the beginning and then you rule the line. So the first thing is the front. The second thing you are going to measure is called base, or you call it bottom. The measurement is 4 inches. Now the third thing you are going to measure is the back, is 5 inches. Anytime you are making any bag, the front and the back are always the same. Now the next one is called top, which is the shoulder of your bag, 2 inches. Now the final one is called flap, or you call it front cover. I'll be using 4 inches here, 4 inches. So now watch the way I position my tape. I'm going to measure 9 inches. So this is the wideness of the bag. Let me use that English. That's the how wide you want the bag to be. 9 inches. Now, if you have a very long ruler, you just measure 9 inches on your right hand and then 9 inches on the left. And that's all. You just rule it at once. But because the ruler is short, so I have to measure gradually. Well, of course, I may not have told you what you need. You need plastic ruler, you need scissors, you need hammer, you need your tape. Just mention it, but you'll be seeing everything I will be using in the course of the training. Now, what I want to do here is not compulsory, but we'll call it shaping. When you want to shape your back, you don't want it to be straight. So I measured half inch. Please watch exactly where I'm marking the half inch. Watch and then watch the way I'm going to join the lines. Okay, so watch what I want to do here. I want to shape the flap, but I'm not supposed to have done this. I'm supposed to leave it till later on. So I'll show you where I'm supposed to actually do this. So, but I've done it here, so there's nothing I can do. So if you're doing yours, you don't need to shape here now. I'll tell you when to do it, please. Okay, so follow the lines, the both lines for the base. Follow it up, only the two lines. So when you turn it, you discover that the flap is a bit big. So watch exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to reduce it. So it's unfortunate that I won't be able to put the camera on the area where you see. But I'm sure you can see what I'm doing here by the left now. So just reducing the excess. You can see it now. So it is after cutting here that you can now go ahead to curve it using that plastic container. So I hope you understand. You can see that I have to still come back and reuse it because the curve is not giving me what I want. So this is the right time to actually curve it, unlike what I did earlier on. So please take notes. Okay, so get this white board. It's called chipboard. It's almost the same thing with office file. Chipboard. So I'm going to drop the flap and the top, just the flap and the top. Okay, so you go ahead and cut a leather that you are going to use to wrap it around. If you don't use leather, you can use wrapper. You can use any material of your choice. So just make sure you cut it with extra allowance to fold it. Then this is for the lining. So I just got a soft material for the lining. So the chipboard is going to serve for that of the lining. Then this is called contact adhesive, or you call it shoe gum, or you call it evostick gum. You can see what I use now. You can use nail to open the mouth, and then watch the way I'm going to apply the gum, right? So in case you want to ask when should I attach them together, just wait for 2-3 minutes depending on the temperature and the weather around you. Just make sure it is dry before applying them together. You will notice that I'm reapplying the gum around the edges. That's because I want the gum to hold the allowances very well. So please watch very well. If you don't know how to fold, that is why I'm very slow here. Watch the way I'm folding so that you can also get a neat finishing. So I've gotten a good finishing or a good folding. So now you go ahead, use your hammer or mallet to smoothen it. So it's time to put lock. We call it magnetic lock. So I'm going to put 2. You can put only 1. And this pen that I'm holding, we call it magic pen. That's because you can clean it, okay? Now this blade that I'm holding is called cutter, or you call it jackknife. The magnetic lock has what we call washer. You can see it, I've placed it. Okay, so let's decorate the front of the bag. Now I'm contemplating here, which one should I use? So I've decided to pick the one I like. When you are doing yours, use anyone you like. And if you don't want to put anyone, there's no problem. So it's called fancy, or some people call it logo. It's just for decorating the front of our bag. Now I'm trying to get the center of the bag or the center of the pattern so that we'll know where to fix it exactly. Okay, so this is called bag stand. You are going to put it at the base of your pattern. So I'm using 3/4, that is 1/2 and 1/4 inch. 1/2 and 1/4 inch. Horizontal and vertical, 1/2 and 1/4 inch. So you may want to ask, why do we put bag stand? This is to avoid stain or dust at the bottom of your bag when you keep it on the ground. Okay, so I want to make a pocket, measure 7 by 5 inches, and then you just fold like 1/2 inch after you must have applied your gum around the edges. So, and then you go ahead and fix the pocket. Pocket is not mandatory, it's a choice. In most cases, the pocket is always attached to the back, towards the back. So that's why you see where I placed it now is towards the back panel of your pattern. So I only use glue to hold it here first. Later on, I'm going to stitch it. If you have your machine, go ahead and sew it. Now, since I'm using hand to stitch it, this iron I'm holding is called stitching prongs. Stitching prongs. You can Google it. It's like fake. Some of them have 1 mouth, 2 mouth, 4 mouth, 5 mouth, and so on and so forth. So, but if you're using your machine, you don't have business with this. Now, to stitch it, you need thread size 3, and then you need 2 hand needle. 2 hand needle. You can get the hand needle from tailor shop. When you fix the thread and the thread comes out from the hole, you put it back through the hole again twice so that it will be able to stay. You don't need to knot it, just put it twice, it will stay. So you do the same thing on the other one also, and then please watch carefully the way I'm going to sew it. Now this hand stitch method is a very simple thing, though it could be funny to some people. You need 2 needles. Now when the 2 needle goes inside, one will be on your left, one will be on your right. Then one will be, or should I say, one will be on the right side of your pattern, then one will be on the rough side. So it will be going in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. So that's how it will keep going. So maybe in other areas that I'm going to stitch, I'm going to show us clearly how to do that. After putting the pocket or sewing the pocket, now apply your gum on it. But avoid those areas where the pocket is going to stay. So just observe it very well. Let me also tell you that in case if you are to put handle on this bag, this is the right time to do that. If you are to put handle, this is the right time before fixing that of the lining. But since I'm putting chain, so I can now go ahead and cover it up. Always make sure your gum is dry first. You will also notice that I'm not going to cover the front panel. That's because we are going to put magnetic lock there. Okay, so now you are going to punch a hole from the top to the other side of the top with the stitching prongs, and then I'm going to sew it using the hand needle. But if you have your machine, go ahead and sew with your machine. Like I keep repeating, I'm using two needles, one on the left hand, one on the right hand, so they keep entering in, out, in, out. But I'm going to make a very simple video just to show how to put the needle inside, how to stitch again. I'm going to do that. As you can see, I'm done sewing it. Use the marker to rub it or scrub it on the magnetic lock, and watch what I'm going to do next. So once you have set it very well, you press it so that it will appear on the other side. So I'm sure you now know why I didn't cover the front side with the lining, just because of this magnetic lock. So this is the side gusset. The front is 5, so I'm going to mark 5.5 all. But you can see that I first of all mark ½ inch, then I now mark 5. So in total is 5.5. Then take your ruler and then connect it. So you can see the ½ inch, and then from that ½ inch, 5 inches, which serves for the front. Then the base is 4 inches rather. The base is 4 inches. So I'm going to add half to the both sides. So it's going to be 5 inches in total. So you can see the half here, but in total, I'm going to mark 5 inches. And later on, you'll see how I will remove the half so that it will come back to 4 inches. So on the right side, you mark ½ inch, and on the left side, mark ½ inch also, so that when you remove the half on both sides, it will come back to 4 inches at the middle. So can you see the exact 4 inches? So let's go to the upper side. Now I want to reduce the upper side by removing 1 inch from the left and the right. But if you don't want to reduce it, you can leave it like that. So my own, I want to reduce it. I don't want it to be too wide. Okay, so after wrapping it, you get your lining, and then you just fold the upper side first. Just watch the way I'm going to do it. So I apply glue to hold it first before and stitching it. But if you are sewing with your machine, you just go ahead and sew. Then you also reduce the lining. Make sure the lining is a bit smaller than the actual size. So it's time to now fix the side gusset. So assuming it is machine now, you just go ahead and sew. But since it's unstitched, so I'm going to use my glue to hold it first before I will now go ahead to stitch it. So I want to punch the two sides first before I'm going to connect the other side of so that it will be very easy for me. But if you think it's going to be convenient when you finish the whole thing, no problem. So after punching the two sides, then you go ahead and fix the other part. So just watch carefully. If you can watch carefully, you understand whatever I'm doing here. Now, if you remember where I punched before, so you are going to punch the remaining areas, which is the back panel and then the base. So time to stitch. Like I did told you, this is 2 hand needle that I'm using here. So at the beginning here, I just have to make sure it is well secured so that when they are putting hand inside the bag, it will not open on time. So, and then from there, you keep putting the needle from the left to the right and from the right to the left, and that's how you go all throughout. So I'm sure this is looking beautiful, right? So as simple as ABC. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to introduce eyelets. This is where the chain is going to pass through. So I'm going to put 2 on the left, 2 on the right, and you can just put only 1 on the left, 1 on the right. The choice is yours, and you can position it anyhow you want, horizontal or vertical. So watch out. Now this is called Boris. I call it Boris. I don't know if it has any other name. And this is called puncher. Puncher. So that's what I'm going to use to punch the hole. So mark 1.5 inches from the left and the right. Now the reason why I'm marking 1.5 inches is because of the side gusset, so that the chain can pass comfortably. Whenever you want to punch a hole, make sure you punch it on a wood or a punching board. Don't punch it on a wall, that's on the floor now, and then don't also punch it on anything called metal. It will damage the puncher. Alright, if you observe very well, the eyelet refused to enter, so I'm going to widen the hole using my puncher. So that's to tell you that we have different sizes of eyelet and even different sizes of puncher. Now let's go ahead and fix the eyelet. Now you see the work of the boris. Now this one is called washer. This flat one is called washer. You place it on top and then you put the boris on top. Assuming you are using eyelet machine, you don't need the boris. The eyelet machine will do the work. So make sure you hit it like a gentleman so that you don't damage it. So you do the same thing to the 4 of them, and that's how you fix them. So it's as simple as this. So this is the chain I'm going to use for the bag, and inside the chain I'm going to put this tiny material. You can cut like 1/2 inch of the leather, 1/2 inch. Make sure it's longer than the chain, and then you can fold it into 2 and sew. But if you don't have sewing machine, then use your gum to hold it together. So this is the right time for you to fix it inside the chain. Make sure as you are fixing it, your chain is straight so that it will not get twisted. So I'm sure you can see how beautiful it is. So thank you so much for watching. God bless you. You can watch more of my videos and other tutorials on Facebook. Just search for Evergreen Vocational, and if you're on TikTok, search for bag making with Evergreen. Bag making with Evergreen. God bless you.